Hi and welcome. I'm Brad Surgars, Chairman and Founder of Action International. Maybe you've read some of my books, maybe you haven't, you've got to read some more. Today we're here to talk about the formula I have for being successful in life and in business. How to create success for yourself and for those family members around you. So maybe you want to get some other people to watch this segment with you, or just forward it on to them. Either way, make sure you understand how success happens for people. Be it in life, be it in business, be it in your job, in sport, in a relationship, raising kids. Success is a predetermined formula, and today we're going to go through that. And a lot of people talk to me and say, you know, these are secrets of success. Well, no, they're not. They're not secrets. They are tried and true principles that have been used by me, by millions of people before me, and hopefully by you and millions of people after the both of us. If we go through these, you'll understand why in just a moment. So the first one I want to get through, and we're going to go through a fair few different flip charts here, a few PowerPoint slides, to make sure that we've got this learning down pat. So let's look at the first one. How we grow ourselves. There's an above and below the line point here. Before I explain it, I'll explain why I have that line in the middle. Below that line is where the majority of the population is. Above that line is where success happens. So let's examine it. Below the line there's three things: blame, excuses, and denial. Blame, excuse, denial. Now, if you live in that world, how do you think life's going to end up for you? Very simply put, in that part of the world, and you'll see blame, excuse, denial spells bed. You've made your own bed, so lie in it. You know, how many of you know people, think of all the people you know that blame everyone else or everything else for their success in life. In fact, do this with me. Point your hand at me. Yes, I know it looks stupid doing it at the camera or at the screen. Point your hand at me. How many fingers on your hand are pointing at me? One. How many are pointing back at you? Three. And one up to God or the universe, whatever term you use for it. The point is that the reality of life is that the majority of what happens in your life is because of you. The majority of it. So stop blaming other people. Stop living below the line there. Second thing people do is they come up with millions and millions of excuses. Where did we learn this? At school or as a kid or wherever it was? But we've continued that habit into becoming an adult and wondering why it doesn't pay us very much back. It doesn't work. Denial, well, that's the third one below the list. You know, have you ever met the unhealthy person that thought they were all okay? You ever met the person who's chain smoker and thinks that their health is fine? You ever met the person in business who's losing money hand over fist but thinks that life's okay? Look, denial is the worst thing. I found a great book, it was a few years back now, the title was Denial is Not a River in Egypt. And it's very true, you know, you've got to look at it from that fact that living with your head in the sand, what's the only thing sticking up? And it's going to get kicked. Time after time after time. So above the line there's also a few things. Number one, ownership. Number two, accountable. And number three, responsible. So let's take a look at those three words. Ownership. You own your own ship. You're in charge. Accountable. Count. You're accountable for results. Numbers, results, accountable. Responsible. You choose your response. You are response-able. Able to choose what you do in any situation. They're the three things above the line. Notice you've got your own ship, and if you spell them out, that's your order, paddle your own ship. Let's take a look at what I call these. Below the line, they're the victims. Above the line, they're the victors. Now, below the line, here's what you're going to get in life. Lots of reasons. Above the line, what you're going to get? Lots and lots of results. So, stick with me. We're going to focus on how we can stay above that line. Would it be okay if we stay above that line for the rest of this chat? I hope so. Now, second one. This is a word people really love. They absolutely love this word. Failure. My goodness me. Think about this. How many mistakes have you made in life? Most people say to me, Brad, how do you know so much at such a young age? Well, it's simple. I've made more mistakes than anybody I know. I've messed up so many times. So my rule in life is a very simple one. The only failure that you can have, the only way you could ever fail in life is the failure to do one thing. You know what that one thing is? Participate. In other words, if you don't participate, you've failed. Because if you participate, you are going to learn something. You may get a great result, you may get a bad result, but you will learn something by participating. So the only failure in life is the failure to participate. I've put it simply on your screen right now. Give 100% and you'll get 100%. So hopefully it's okay with you to participate at 100%. See, life is not a spectator sport. Life is something to get involved in, something to be in. Sitting at home watching television is not participating. What's the difference between a rut and a grave? Well, a rut's just longer. There's not much difference. There's a big difference between an existence and a life. You know, I get a little passionate about this because I watch so many people who live what I call a photocopy life. They live the same year every year. It's never different. They take the same vacation time, they take the same way to work, they do the same work. It's a photocopy life. Imagine if your child was 4 years into their schooling and they came home to you at age, what would that be, about age 10, and said to you, you know what, I failed this year, I've got to go and repeat. The next year they came back, the teacher said, you know what, they failed again. 20 years later, your kid is driving to school still in 4th grade. It's insanity. You wouldn't believe it. Why would people do it as adults? Is every year a pass or a fail? The only failure, my friends, is the failure to participate in life. Get out there, do more, be more, see more, act more. Be a part of life and you will get more back from it. The more you participate, the more you get back. Now, next point on how to succeed in life. I learned this one, well, how should I put this? Think about this. If you've got a teenage kid, you'll know this down pat. Or think of any friends or family you know with teenage kids. How much do they know? I'll put the words up for you. Here's what they'll say. I know, I know. You know, Dad, I know, I know, I know. As adults, we get a little bit more polite. We just cross our arms, nod our head, and in our back of our mind think, oh, I know. Yeah, I already know. Yeah, I already know. Fact is, the moment you go into I know, you're doing right, wrong thinking. I'm right, you're wrong. How many times have you ever argued a point till you're blue in the face, only to find out a week later you were wrong? It's just opinions, folks. There's no use arguing opinions. I live by a simple saying in life. Here it is. Get rid of the I know and replace it with, isn't that interesting? You know, my dad used to put it to me a lot more blunt than this. He would say to me, Brad, very simply, never argue with an idiot, it just creates two. That's right. If we're arguing with someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, you are creating yourself in the same category. Just say, isn't that interesting? You know, for there to be left, there has to be right. For there to be up, there has to be down. There has to be opposing points of view. Maybe if you get rid of the words I know, there's a chance you'll learn something that will change your life. Just a chance. Maybe just a fine distinction that will add to the value that you've got already.